Hey, it's Pastor Dan with another Proverbs Practical from Dexter Gospel Church. Glad to have you watching today. Our last video warned us that deception never really satisfies. The lie always ends up deceiving the liar in the long run. This next verse urges us to get good advice if we want to be successful, especially when we're dealing with conflict. We're in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 18. Proverbs 20, verse 18 says, "Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war." One of the most tragic things that could be said about a person is that they don't listen to anyone. None of us are infallible. We all have blind spots. None of us always knows the right thing to do, and that's especially true when it comes to the things we want most because our emotions so strongly interfere with our intentions. We tend to make snap judgments and decisions, then rationalize them afterward. Proverbs 15:22 told us that without counsel, purposes are disappointed. Well, a purpose is obviously something that you want to achieve, or a goal or a vision that you have. And to be established is to make it permanent, to make it solid, to see it come to success. So this tells us that if we want something to succeed, we need to get good counsel. We need to talk to people who know something about that field, people with a track record of making good decisions, people who will be able to see our blind spots and point out the holes in our thinking. If we will seek and accept good counsel, our purposes can be established, made permanent. If not, our goals, our purposes are fragile, temporary, and usually destined to fail. Back when I was wrestling for my college team, I was getting frustrated that my attacks, leg attacks in particular, were simply not effective. I had this training partner and I would shoot, but he always seemed to be ready, just stopping my shots way too easily. After just a little while of this, he told me that I had a tell. Right before I would shoot, I would always take a deep breath and go. It signaled any opponent paying attention that something was coming. Now, I'd been focusing on my shot technique, on my level change, on my step, on my footwork, on my setups. It hadn't even occurred to me that I was giving away the shot before the thing even started with my breathing. But someone else was able to see it immediately, and his counsel helped change the whole situation. Likewise, when we head into conflict, it's especially important that we get good advice. When there's not just the normal stress and strain of reality on our plans, but someone actively working to upset and overcome them, we need good advice all the more. It's said that no plan survives contact with the enemy, and this verse tells us that with good advice we should make war. Now, of course, as believers, our whole lives are spiritual warfare, so we constantly need people around us who can advise us well. And while we should, as much as possible, avoid adversarial situations in day-to-day life, the people around us, even in business and politics, aren't really our enemies on a spiritual level, and usually we can find a solution that benefits everyone rather than having winners and losers. There are definitely situations that emerge where someone is opposing us and we have to know how to handle it. Getting advice from someone whose adrenaline isn't coursing from being in the middle of the conflict, someone who has been in situations like this before, someone who has a track record of success in those situations, can be invaluable. So don't rush decisions. Now, certainly we have to be decisive at some point, make a decision and stick to it, or there was no point in having a purpose, a goal, a vision at all, since it'll never be done. But making important decisions without getting counsel first, and especially heading into any kind of conflict without seeking out knowledge of the opponent, what they are likely to do, how they're likely to do it, what's worked against them in the past, that's foolish. If you want to succeed in your purposes, and if you want to survive in your conflicts, get the best advice you can. Don't just seek out people who will affirm what you already want to do, people who only know what you already know, people who think like you, who are inclined like you. Get the best advice you can for victory. I hope this video is a help to you. If so, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more like it. We'd love to hear from you in the comments or see you in person here at Dexter Gospel Church. And until next time, I hope you stay well and get good advice.